What she sees in the first 5 seconds, and why it changes everything. They decide if they'll sleep with you in the first 5 seconds. It all depends on what they see. Let that sink in. While you're still thinking about what to say, female perception is already locked in. Your body language, your energy, your stillness, or your neediness, it all sends a message. And here's the brutal truth: if you're unaware of what women see, you're already being filtered out, silently. The decision isn't logical, it's biological. And if you don't know how to shape that first impression, you're not even in the game. This isn't about changing yourself. It's about finally seeing yourself through her eyes. And what she sees in those 5 seconds, that decides everything. If this resonates with you, if it feels like we're finally talking about what really matters but rarely gets said, consider supporting this video by liking, sharing, or even dropping a quick comment. It's a small gesture that helps more men find clarity in a world full of noise. So in this video, we're going deep into the signals, the body language, and the unspoken truths that flip the switch between attraction and indifference. What she sees in the first 5 seconds, and why it changes everything. You don't have to say a single word. The decision's already been made. In the time it takes to blink, female perception has run a full diagnostic. Your walk, your posture, your presence, it all triggers instant judgment. And here's the hard truth: you can be everything a woman says she wants and still feel her pulling away. Why? Because in those first 5 seconds, the verdict wasn't based on logic. It was based on primal attraction. You weren't rejected by her thoughts. You were filtered out by her instincts, and she doesn't even know it consciously. Imagine this: you're entering a room. Before you even find your seat, you've been categorized. The look in her eyes says more than any words ever will. It's not personal, it's psychological framing. And if you're not owning your masculine frame, you're probably slipping into the invisible category without even realizing it. What does that mean? It means you're not seen as a sexual decision-making option. You're tolerated, maybe liked, but not felt. And until you understand how visual judgment shapes her desire, you're just playing a game where the rules are hidden from you. Most men waste time trying to impress with stories, humor, or validation. But the truth, she's already made her choice long before that. That moment when you crossed the room, stood near her, or made eye contact, that was the moment of subconscious testing. You didn't notice it. She didn't verbalize it, but it happened. And the only question that mattered was, do I feel his dominant presence? That's the emotional checkpoint. Not your resume, not your kindness. It's energetic, it's primal. And if you miss that window, you can't talk your way into sexual polarity. Ever. What she sees isn't your shirt. It's not your shoes. It's the assertive energy in your stillness, the calm in your eyes, the alpha posture that says, I don't need approval to exist. That's what flips her inner switch. Not performance, but perceived value. And it's not about being cocky or fake. It's about being grounded, unshakable. The kind of man who isn't performing for acceptance. That male confidence hits her nervous system before her brain can catch up. You either radiate it or you chase it. And trust me, she can feel the difference. This isn't some secret trick. It's biological pattern recognition. Women are evolutionarily wired to make sexual decision-making assessments in seconds. The catch? They often don't even know they're doing it. It happens below awareness, but their body knows. That's why 2 men can say the same words and only one creates a spark. The other gets a polite smile. It's desire psychology, not compatibility. And until you get that, you'll keep asking, what did I do wrong? When the answer is, it's not what you did. It's how she saw you from the start. Let me tell you something most men never hear. You're not invisible because you're not good enough. You're invisible because your non-verbal signals are telling her you don't believe in your own value. You might smile too fast, speak too quickly, fidget, or worst of all, shrink in the presence of beauty. And she doesn't analyze it. She just feels it. Silent rejection doesn't come from hate. It comes from disconnection. And the first fix isn't changing your words. It's rebuilding your emotional control. That's the foundation. That's what Stoicism actually means in practice. Want to know what every high-value man has in common? They don't try to be chosen. They focus on social power, not social approval. That changes their behavioral impact in every room they enter. They walk in and people feel something. Not because they speak louder or dress better, but because they carry something quiet, solid, grounded. That's the signal women respond to before they even know why. Female perception isn't activated by effort. It's awakened by presence. And if you've been ignored, overlooked, or friend-zoned, that's your first clue. You're not being seen as a man, yet. A woman's brain isn't running a checklist. It's scanning male status like radar. She's looking for cues of certainty, not perfection. She wants to feel something unshakable when she looks at you. And if you don't know how to transmit that through your body language, you'll always be a step behind. One man enters a cafe and is barely noticed. Another walks in and creates a tension in the air. That's not about looks. That's dominant presence in action. And if you don't own it, no words will make her feel it. Presence happens before performance. Let's make this real. Picture a guy, James. Smart, successful, kind. But every date felt flat. No spark. He'd rehearse what to say, show up looking sharp, and still end up ghosted. Why? Because every woman he met already made up her mind in the first glance. She sensed no masculine awareness, no tension, no assertive energy, just a man hoping to be liked. Then, James did something different. He stopped trying. He focused on his alpha posture, slowed down his speech, and stopped shrinking in the face of beauty. Women started leaning in, not because he was louder, but stiller. Here's the truth. Eye contact is the doorway, but not just any glance. It's the kind that holds without chasing, the kind that says, "I'm not here to earn you. I'm here to see you." Most men break gaze too soon, or worse, stare too long out of nervousness. Real male confidence lives in that balance, in being fully present without pushing. It's subtle, but unforgettable, and it sets the tone for how she feels about you instantly. Remember, women feel into spaces. They don't decode facts. So create a space she feels safe and drawn into. She's not reading your resume. She's reading your rhythm, that slight pause before you speak, the way you place your drink, the way you take up space, or give it away. These are non-verbal signals of a man who's either in control or apologizing for existing. And her visual judgment happens fast. It's not personal. It's primal. Your pacing, your breath, even your jawline tension. It all tells a story before your words ever get the chance. So if you're working on yourself, start here. Rewire your first impression, not your vocabulary. And no, this doesn't mean you need to be a statue. It means you need to stop performing. Performance is for approval, presence is for power, and a woman can spot the difference before you say hello. When you live in your body with grounded stillness, you emit perceived value, not by acting cool, by being unshakable. That's what separates high-value behavior from nice guy behavior. The nice guy adapts. The high-value man sets the tone, and she can feel that sexual polarity instantly, even when nothing has been said out loud. You ever walk into a room and feel someone's energy before they even speak? That's what she feels when you approach. It's energetic before it's verbal. That's the behavioral impact you carry with you. Think of it like music. Some men bring noise, others bring silence with weight. And silence, when rooted in Stoicism, speaks louder than any line you've memorized. She senses it, she leans into it, because it's rare. And in a world where everyone's trying to impress her, your grounded stillness becomes the most attractive thing in the room. Here's something no one tells you. Being nice without emotional control feels like a manipulation, like you're only being kind to get something. But when you lead with dominant presence, your kindness becomes a gift, not a trade. That shift is subtle, but critical. It's what makes her trust you, not because of what you say, but because of what she senses you're not hiding. Subconscious testing begins and ends there. She doesn't want you to be perfect. She wants to know you're real. And realness starts with how you walk into the room, not what you bring. Now let's talk about hesitation. Women don't need a script. They feel your hesitation before your lips even part. That tiny delay, that nervous blink, that half step backward, all of it sends signals, and here's the punch. It signals that you're not sure of your own masculine frame. When you hesitate, you give her time to doubt, and doubt kills primal attraction. A man who moves with intention, not arrogance, but certainty, immediately shifts her psychological framing. She may not smile, she may not even speak, but inside, she's paying attention. That's your first silent win. You want to feel this shift. Start with your breath, slow it, deepen it. Then walk into your next social setting like you're not chasing, you're choosing. Let your body say, I belong here. That's assertive energy. And yes, it takes practice. Stand in front of the mirror and watch how your body changes when you stop trying. You'll notice a stillness, a weight. That's not acting. That's the beginning of social power. And the more you live in that state, the more women sense it. You don't need to dominate the room. Just own your space. Let's be clear. She's not waiting for a perfect man. She's looking for an anchored man. Someone who isn't trying to manage her perception. Someone who can hold space for her storm and not get pulled into it. That's why Stoicism matters. Not as an idea, but as a lived presence. When you're unshaken, she relaxes. Not because she's impressed, but because she feels safe. Not logical safety, nervous system safety. That's the real desire psychology. And here, a pause real quick. If this is opening your eyes to truths you've never heard but always felt, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. Because this is only the beginning. Let's keep going. Every time you apologize for your existence, even subtly, you fail her test. You might think you're being polite, but she hears, I'm unsure of myself. And when a man doesn't trust his own value, she won't either. That's silent rejection. She won't say it. She'll just feel it. And drift. You don't need to fake confidence, you need to stop betraying your own. Start noticing how often you downplay yourself, look away, laugh nervously. These are all cues of unstable male confidence. Flip the script. Breathe deeper. Talk slower. Take up space like you're meant to. You know what's seductive? Stillness. Not the stillness of fear, the stillness of certainty. When a man isn't trying to fill every silence, he invites curiosity. He signals, I'm not in a rush to prove anything. That lands hard, because so few men embody that today. It's not about playing games. It's about sending non-verbal signals that say, I know who I am. And that right there changes her lens. Her female perception recalibrates. You go from background noise to a possibility. Not because you demanded it, but because you became it. You've probably seen this play out. Two men approach a woman. One smiles nervously, floods her with compliments and leans forward. The other says less but moves with clarity. The second man wins her attention and her imagination. Why? Because he projects high-value behavior. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't perform. He just exists with purpose. That's sexual decision-making at work. She doesn't know why she's drawn to him, only that she is. And it started before either of them spoke. That's the level of awareness most men never even realize they need. There's a reason ancient warriors trained in breath and posture before battle, because control of your body is control of your mind, and control of your mind is control of your space. That's the essence of masculine awareness. And yes, it starts with discipline, but it ends in freedom. When your presence says, I don't need to prove myself, the game changes. Women notice, men respect it, and your entire social world shifts. Not from ego, but from embodied clarity. You become someone who doesn't seek energy, but anchors it. Let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about attraction. It's about becoming the kind of man who commands the room without needing to raise his voice. That's not magic. That's social power built on emotional control, because when you own your nervous system, others subconsciously tune into you. That includes women. They follow the energy of leadership, not the loud kind. The calm, watchful, deliberate kind. So if you're asking, how do I become more magnetic? The answer isn't to do more. It's to leak less. Stop bleeding insecurity through your body. You've been told attraction is about saying the right things. That's the slowest way in. What works faster than words is visual judgment. She watches how you stand when you're not being watched. She reads your vibe when you're quiet. Does your silence scream fear or control? That's the test. That's subconscious testing in its rawest form. And if you're constantly needing to explain, impress, or overdo, you're already behind. The real game starts when you realize she's watching everything. And what she sees is what she believes. Words come later. Feelings land first. And don't confuse this with being cold. Being emotionally grounded isn't the same as being emotionally unavailable. Women don't need you to be a robot. They need you to be rooted. That's the sweet spot of male status. You can feel without collapsing. You can listen without chasing. That balance is rare. That's why when she feels it, she remembers it. Most men live on one end of the spectrum, either too passive or too performative. Step off the spectrum. Be the one who listens with presence and speaks with purpose. That's where female perception shifts. And the beauty of all this? You don't need to be rich, tall, or Hollywood-level handsome. You just need to be aligned. When your inside matches your outside and your body reflects your alpha posture, you become unforgettable. Because most men live in contradiction. Their eyes say, "I'm unsure." Their words say, "I'm confident." That creates confusion. And confusion kills primal attraction. But when you walk into a room with congruence, she doesn't have to guess who you are. She feels it. And that creates safety, tension, and curiosity all at once. Here's a quick practice you can try today. Go to a cafe, sit still and just observe. Don't fidget. Don't check your phone, just exist fully. Notice how people start glancing at you. Some will wonder if they know you. Others will feel drawn without knowing why. That's behavioral impact without a single word. Because stillness, when intentional, radiates power. Do this weekly. Train your nervous system to hold space. When you can do nothing and still be noticed, you're building masculine awareness on a cellular level. That's the training nobody talks about, but everyone feels. And yes, you'll be tested. The moment you start embodying presence, the world will try to knock you out of it. Women will test it. Situations will press it. That's normal. That's the feedback loop. But the more you return to stillness under pressure, the more trust you build, both internally and externally. That's what women seek. Not a man without emotion, but a man whose male confidence doesn't vanish when challenged. So don't run from the tests. Learn to enjoy them. They're not barriers, they're mirrors showing you where the work is. Let's make this even simpler. You want to be seen differently. Then start showing up differently. Not louder, not flashier, but clearer. She doesn't need more words from you. She needs fewer contradictions. She needs to feel that when she looks at you, there's nothing foggy. That's what ignites sexual polarity. Not mystery, but clarity. Not arrogance, but self-possession. You become that man the moment you stop selling yourself and start owning yourself. That shift happens before you speak, and it changes how she sees you. Forever. If you've ever felt invisible, it wasn't because you lacked value, it was because you weren't broadcasting it through the right channel. Visual judgment is fast, unconscious, and deeply rooted in biology. But the good news, you can rewire how you're seen, not by becoming someone else, but by removing the noise that's hiding your real self. That's what masculine frame is. Clarity without explanation, stillness without silence, energy without chaos. It's not a persona. It's your baseline when you're no longer trying to prove anything. And that version of you, he's magnetic. You might be wondering now, so how do I hold this presence consistently? The answer isn't found in doing more. It's in doing less, but with more intention. Wake up and own your space before anyone sees you. Practice eye contact in the mirror, not to intimidate, but to hold yourself with honesty. Observe how your body tightens around beauty. Breathe through it. Slow it down. This is where emotional control is built. Not in theory, but in tension. The man who feels everything but reacts intentionally becomes the one women remember. And trust. There's a quiet kind of power that doesn't chase. It invites. It doesn't seek approval. It offers stability. And once you start to embody that, you'll notice something strange. The women who once ignored you begin to linger. They look twice. They smile without knowing why. That's the ripple effect of high-value behavior. You stop trying to be chosen and start becoming the chooser. And when that happens, your world shifts. Not just in dating, but in business, friendship, and identity. That's the unspoken reward of mastering male status. And listen, this isn't a performance. It's not about faking depth or pretending to be grounded. It's about letting go of the boy who needed to be liked and stepping into the man who knows how to lead without needing followers. That's dominant presence, and it starts by leading yourself. You walk with a different rhythm. You make eye contact without flinching. You're silent when others need to fill the air. You speak when it matters. And suddenly women see you, not just as a man, but as an experience. That's what most men miss. Women don't remember what you said. They remember how they felt around you, the tension, the safety, the mystery of a man who doesn't try to prove anything, but still holds all the power in the room. That's behavioral impact, that's subconscious testing passed without effort. You didn't need a perfect line. You didn't need to be flashy. You needed to be solid. And when you are, everything changes. She sees you, not with her eyes but with her instincts. And yes, it's going to feel strange at first. If you've been living in performance mode for years, true stillness will feel unnatural, but lean into it. Every time you resist the urge to fill the silence, to impress, to over-explain, you reclaim your frame. And with every choice, you reinforce your stoicism, not as a theory, but as a lifestyle. You stop being the nice guy trying to be seen. You become the man she sees first, without even knowing why. And that is the power of instant judgment. It's not something to fear, it's something to master. Because when you understand what she sees in those first 5 seconds, you stop fumbling for connection. You create it, silently, through breath, through posture, through unshakable masculine awareness. You walk into the room, and before a word is said, you've already spoken. She feels you, she respects you. And for the first time, she sees a man who decides, not one who waits to be chosen. And that changes everything. So now the question is yours to answer. Are you going to keep hoping she sees you differently, or start showing up like the man you actually are? Because here's the thing, the version of you that's waiting to be chosen will always feel invisible. But the version of you that owns his presence, he never has to chase. What's one habit you know you need to drop in today and to stop being misread from the first second? Drop it in the comments. Seriously. Type, I decide what they see. And let that be your first public commitment to shifting the game in your favor. Thank you for sticking with me through this, really. If something clicked today, I hope you carry it with you into every room, every glance, every choice. And if you know another man who needs to hear this, send it to him. You might just be the reason he wakes up to the truth. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and turn on the notifications. We're just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.